What's up, everybody? This is Team B with your host Brandon, along with me, Bill Mack here, and this is Team B Presents, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Team B Wrestling. This week in WWE Review, I'm joined by my co-host, Bill Mack.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
It's going all right, sir. Not too bad today. Just rainy, off and on today, but not too bad at all. Feeling pretty good. How about you? How you doing?
Feels like springtime and fucking the end of December. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. 80, what was it, 80, 77, 78 today? Back-to-back days, you know. But 80 degree Christmas we had. I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
you're right, man. Summertime's still here. I'm all good with that.
Extreme weather, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't want to get in that kind of conversation. Global warming, I just know the weather's different than it was 1 year ago, so something's up.
That's true.
As the Earth, spins like that, that's why we get different seasons as it's orbiting the sun. That's the reason for the seasons,
Oh, yeah.
From a scientific perspective, what do I know? All I know is that Raw was, I don't know. I guess I give it, I know a lot of people don't like this, but I guess I'll give it like a thumbs in the middle, because I know Silent Monster's like, either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, thumbs in the middle is kind of cheating. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of cheat because I watch the 90-minute version of Raw on Hulu, and then I'll go to WWE's YouTube channel and watch clips that I miss. But usually Hulu has all the relevant stuff that occurred on the show, and so I kind of cheat watching the shorter version of it, get to the point. I can't imagine sitting there, 3 hours watching it like that. But exactly. It just depends. I know the women's match kind of sucked, and they gave them enough time. They gave them 15 minutes. I believe it was 15 minutes, 13 to 15 minutes. And it was Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and it just didn't – it was okay. It wasn't a bad match. It was better than like a Bella match. But you just know it just could have been better. It's like they were rushing everything. It's like, you got time here. What the hell?
Yeah.
But Monday Night Raw starts. So Bill didn't get a chance to catch Raw yet. He's going to catch it later. But Raw opened up with Vince McMahon coming out there with a segment with what was it? I think Roman Reigns. And, Roman Reigns Vince was in his face, blah, blah, blah. Roman Reigns was like, you're just an old man, out of touch, so-and-so. And I think he pushed him down. He pushed Vince down. And then Vince got up saying, oh, my neck hurt. And then the NYPD came out there, and they were threatening Vince, telling him to calm down. And they ended up arresting Vince McMahon. And Stephanie was out there saying, no. And the officer said, if you don't shut up, Steph, we're going to arrest you too. And they got Vince for resisting arrest and I want to say verbal assault, but I'm not sure. But they took him off, and then Roman Reigns is left in the ring holding up the belt like with his smirk on his face, which was kind of funny, I guess. But very similar to the Vince McMahon, Steve Austin feud back in the day. It's just this time you got Roman Lames there, Lame. Mr. Lame Man there. It just didn't feel it's all about Vince,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, Roman just feels like the third wheel. If they're going to do a Vince McMahon, Roman Reigns back and forth promo every week, Roman just feels like the third wheel, And I don't know why Vince wants to get the upper hand in every promo they have. They're supposed to put Roman over,
Right.
I think Vince says something to the effect of, I might be old, but I still own you and own everybody. I mean, he's always got to get the upper hand. Let the baby face get the upper hand in that verbal exchange there. So
Right.
That was the big shocker of the night. Mr. McMahon gets arrested and taken off to jail. And they just showed like 500 replays of that. Oh, my God, Vince is in jail. We can't believe it. Call my attorney. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to own the police department by the time I get out of here. Yes, son of a bitch. Which I found it entertaining. course, the police segments are always kind of lame and unbelievable, but it's wrestling, so I'll give it a pass. But yeah, that was okay. Raw did not start off bad. What frustrated me was Kevin Owens and Neville had a match, and Neville got an upset win over Kevin Owens in like 15 seconds. And that's because, see, Kevin Owens is pissed at Neville because Neville won breakout Superstar of the Year Slammy last week. And the whole point of that was to set up a feud between them two. So now they have a match on Raw. Kevin Owens loses by a roll-up. I think it was a roll-up finish, within 15 seconds. And Kevin Owens snaps and beats the hell out of. And then Dean Ambrose runs out there, either then or later in the show. I can't remember. I'll get to that in a second. But let me see. Kevin Owens upset, beating on Neville and all that crap. And Kevin Owens just wasn't a fan of that. Neville can get an upset victory, but not over Kevin Owens. I just wasn't a big fan of that. Kevin Owens, he's a good talent and everything. Neville, I just don't see Neville there much longer. He just reminds me of, he's not even as good as Evan Bourne. I don't know. I just don't see him on the roster that much longer. I just don't see any star power in Neville. Neville should have came out with a mask originally. He should have wore a mask like DTKC said. Come out there with a mask or something. But later in the show, I think Kevin Owens was out there again, and Dean Ambrose jumped on Kevin Owens. They were having a big fight outside. I can't remember. Dean Ambrose might have been having a match by that point. But anyway, so they're continuing that feud. But the whole reason Neville won the Slammy was so they can have a match on Raw tonight with him and Kevin Owens. It's just kind of lazy writing, I think. But the Vince promo was kind of cool, even though we seen that 15 years ago. But it's not the same. It didn't feel the same. And we got a bunch of replays showing us about that. Let me see.
Well, it's just the fact that you look at overall with the promos and stuff that they've cut. Vince has done over the years, whether he's done episodes arresting, no matter whether it's, I think it's one of the first few times he's actually got arrested, I think, during, a segment. Vince is trying to reach really hard because he's trying to do, like I said, with the ratings actually increasing, which, he's going to say he's had something to do with that. That's what you said.
You can tell a sign of desperation from Vince. He went all out for that promo, to get that rating, but
exactly.
You don't build stars. Raw is his baby, and he was doing whatever he could to make that segment good, and it was a good segment. But it's just nothing original.
No, they're doing a lot. If you look at it and the way it's set up with that, is there's a lot of basic recycling from Stone Cold being arrested, recycling of a lot, of others that's being arrested. It was surprising to me that he would go that far, as far as them taking him to they got him locked up. They took his mugshot and all that stuff.
They showed his mugshot throughout the show, which was hilarious. And that'd be a good thumbnail for this video, actually.
It would be, because it was funny because I was reading some stuff since I hadn't gotten a chance to really. I'll probably this evening watch SmackDown on Hulu. I do like you do, because you cut out all that BS with the commercial stuff. Yeah. But
yes.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. That was a good idea for talking about doing that. I hadn't had a chance yet. I've been kind of busy here at night, but I was reading through some of the sites, talking about fans were actually concerned and trying to actually call the police department, trying to see if Vince was there,
Come on. It's not 1997 no more, where Kevin Nash threw Rey Mysterio like a dart in the side of the trailer. It's not 97 no more. Come on.
That was a sad thing, but they did, man. Vince, they I guess with the fact too is that I think tonight was they were all big up over John Cena supposedly coming back on Raw. They're going to try to go all big with Vince getting arrested. Vince come back, you imagine him sitting in the back talking about, I'll get arrested tonight. We'll get a big pop out of that. Cena's coming back tonight. We'll get a big pop out of that. It's all right though, man. But, Roman Reigns, until he can get that push behind him, you got to get the fans to really like him. Vince don't draw the heat like he used to draw. You know what I'm saying? Back during the Austin and Vince era, and he don't draw the heat like he used to. But that's why he comes out there. It's like you said, desperate times sometimes call for desperate measures. So that was a pretty decent segment I saw, you know, from what I was reading about him being carried out and the law and Stephanie yelling and stuff. And then you were talking about, too, about what, Neville and Owens. And, dude, that all stems back from last week. Remember you and I had our discussion last week's episode of WWE News that we were talking about Neville, the Slammy Awards, and how Neville won the Slammy for a breakout star, and we feel like he robbed Kevin Owens of that.
That was all just to set up a feud. That's all it was just to set up a feud between them.
It's going to do two things, you know. It's supposed to help Neville go up in the cards. You know what I'm saying? I feel like him feuding with Owens will help. It's supposed to help him elevate him up. But the bad thing is, dude, is that it's lowering down Owens by having a feud with Neville. You know, you go with having a feud. I mean, I know it's not a long one because he's been having this feud with Dean Ambrose the last couple months, which I think is good.
Feud going on right now. He's got two. Yeah.
And how often does that happen? I mean, Neville's the gravity the man forgot, the creative forgot. Everybody's basically forgot it. You know, why are they going to have him out there trying to have a feud with Kevin Owens? It ain't going to go nowhere. It's going to be one pay-per-view, and then it's going to be right back to Ambrose and him. And I didn't mean, and it was leading up to what you were saying about later on sometime in there that Ambrose leaked out there on him or something during the match. So that's what they're going to keep that up, no matter, because Neville is he's just a turd stain in Kevin Owens' underwear.
Yeah. Okay. Then after that, we had the New Day come out there and cut a really awesome promo. I think there was like a bad echo here. Hold on. Woo. Okay. New Day came out. Over the first hour Raw had like 10 minutes of actual wrestling, something like that. It was a very low number. And Don Tony was pointed that out. But New Day came out here and cut a promo, a very good promo, actually. They were bitching about how they didn't get the Slammy the week prior, and they gave just an entertaining, comedic promo, very hilarious. And I can't remember exactly what they said. I think it was for the OMG Moment of the Year. And Kofi Kingston said something about beating up kids, and Big said, beating up kids, oh my God. And Xavier Woods said, there you go. There's an OMG moment right there. We can do it all. We're full of those. Endless. And then the Botcha Dragons came out there, and Kalisto had a match with Kofi Kingston. I keep wanting to call him Kofi Kingston. Ever since Kofi Kingston. Way back when he debuted as a Jamaican man.
That's the instant Kofi Kingston.
Well, so
why are they doing that with Kalisto, man? Why are they doing that with Kalisto? Why are they trying to make him get pushed as a? Have you noticed that over the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks of Raw? Kalisto has been. He was in the King of the. What was it? The King of the Ring. The King of the Ring or something. He was one to down to the final four or something.
You're talking about the Survivor Series tournament.
Yeah. What are they trying to push him for? I mean, I know they're trying to make him the next Rey Mysterio Jr.
That's why. They've been looking for a Rey Mysterio replacement for years, and Sin Cara just it doesn't have that Rey Mysterio magic to him and presence to him, but Kalisto has it. When Kalisto comes to the ring, he's got it. He's got that Rey Mysterio presence about him. He's got something there, and I think that's why. Because I think they could probably do something with Kalisto. But Kalisto had a match with Kofi Kingston. They went back and forth, and Kalisto won the match. He upset Kofi Kingston there, and then Xavier Woods got on the microphone, took his shirt off like he was wanting to fight Sin Cara, but then he said no. He said, payback is a Big E. And then Big E had the match with Botcha Dragon Sin Cara. They went back and forth, and Sin Cara got injured in the match. He separated his shoulder because there was a spot where Sin Cara jumped off the ring onto the floor and on the padding, and he just landed wrong, and his shoulder popped like that, and dislocated his shoulder there. And then, but he went on because the referees were doing the X, and they said, and he was like, "Nah, man, Taco Bell, I want to continue because I don't want to get released because when this tag team is over, Vince McMahon's going to release me because they already got a Rey Mysterio and Kalisto. Therefore, WWE doesn't need me no more after this tag team is finished. So therefore, I will continue this match."
Right.
And then he got in the ring, and Big E was just pushing him around and shit. And then he put him in the finisher, Big E's finisher, and he pinned him. And it's funny that Big E don't do the 5 count no more. He did that in NXT. The referee count 3, and then Big E would go 4, 5, 5 count.
They're funny, man. Every single episode they do, man, is just so funny. Because I mean, you look at what they do. To me, man, it's just something. And I don't blame them. You and I discussed that too. I felt like that was highway robbery last week, with them not getting tag team of the year with the Usos because, hell, man, the Usos weren't even weren't together half of the year. I even thought they were released because I think it was Jimmy Uso that kept coming out there, being that extra commentator from time to time, and I'm like, well, where's the other one at? Did he get fired? Because he was gone for longest, and then they just come back. And now you see New Day, which has been the funniest all year long. And I don't know if the fans don't vote for them because they're a heel, but you got as a wrestling fan, and like Aaron Riff said, as a real wrestling fan, you're going to know vote for New Day because they had the better year than just voting for the Usos because they're a face tag team. They weren't even there a full year. So
I think the voting's rigged just because Neville won and Roman Reigns won Superstar of the Year a year ago. That was to set up his big babyface push. But back what we were saying earlier, people gave a fuck about Steve Austin and Vince McMahon feud. They gave a fuck about Steve Austin. Right. Nobody really cares about Roman Reigns because he don't seem like a struggling type, even though he works hard and he does his job well, whatever. But people cared about Stone Cold, and it made sense for him to fight Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is, feuding with Roman Reigns at the moment, pushing around, saying he ain't good enough and shit. But, like I said, Roman Reigns feels like the third wheel in this in these programs back and forth.
You're absolutely right with that, man.
Vince is trying to put him over, but the only reason people are watching that segment is for Vince. Back in the day, we watched it for Vince and Austin.
Right.
People are just curious about Vince in this segment.
Bringing creative, man. I mean, you look at what they're doing. Didn't you see Austin and Vince butt heads in the back? Didn't you see funny segments with them outside of the ring? You don't see that with Roman Reigns. That's how come, like with the Authority, the fans would be more about, at least in my opinion, probably it might be yours, it might be, but you think about it. Don't you think you could get the fans more over with Roman Reigns if he was doing different? I mean, not like taking an hour, like you were mentioning, them doing 10 minutes out of the first hour of wrestling, but don't you think at least they could do some backstage stuff, some defiant stuff against the Authority? They're not doing that with them, and they're not. That's the difference in what they did with Austin. Austin wrecked Vince's stuff. He beat him up in the hospital. He did all kinds of things outside of the thing where people were saying, "Hey, man, he is cool for doing that." But they don't do that. I mean, I imagine they could find new stuff to do, but they're just keeping it with Vince inside the ring, and it's not really broadening people out to it. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think they could do that? Maybe that would help Roman get over more if they just include more segments with him doing stuff to get outside the ring?
Definitely. I remember about a year ago or so when there was bad weather and Raw was kind of canceled and it was hosted by Renee Young and somebody else, and they had Dean Ambrose creeping around WWE headquarters doing stuff like that. I mean, they could do things like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see why people would care so much about Roman Reigns. It don't make no sense. Vince mad at Roman Reigns, but he's gonna give him a world heavyweight title shot at the same time. Things like that, which they could work around that story. Vince could be like, well, you are worth a lot of money to this company. So, but I'll give you a title match. But if you don't win, you're fired or something. Like, the reason I'm not firing you right now is because you are an asset to this company. You're worth something. But if you can't win, I will fire you. I mean, I don't know. They could make it a little bit more believable.
Right. That's true. That's true. I agree with you. I mean, it's just ridiculous how they go about it. You know, they could include the segments like make him look more against the authority. He seems like this Mr. Nice Guy. That's his problem.
He's got the John Cena personality. It doesn't fit him. You know, nursery rhymes, tater tots. That shit don't fit him.
No.
You know, John Cena could get away with it a little bit, even though nobody really likes it. But it don't fit a wild Samoan character. It don't fit him.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be a big, like, strong man, a strong guy. He's not supposed to be one of these types. He's like a Goldberg type guy. He ain't supposed to be talking, and that's why it's hard. It's hard for him.
Maybe he'll get the Hero and All of Us slammy next year.
I hope so.
That's cringe-worthy, man. The Hero and All of Us. The big corporate John Cena. Telling you everything you want to hear and pandering to the crowd and pandering to Susan G. Komen causes and, you know, just pandering all that stuff, telling you everything that you're supposed to hear. He's like a cheap president, you know.
I'm not sure people
he's a company showman, but you know, you can just see right through his shadiness. You know, you just tell he's just pandering and things like that.
I want to ask you a question, Bud. What do you think of this? Not trying to cut you off. Do you think maybe WWE could set this whole year up with making Reigns look like he's the next Cena and have him turn heel next year because of things of this happening, that he's like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm not getting no recognition like you are, kind of going and letting him do all this stuff so that it gives him – I mean, do you think they might do that, or do you think that might be a good thing that they want to try to do, is like make this whole storyline of him being Mr. Nice Guy, I'm going to take up the mantle with Cena, and then just next year have a whole heel turn, because he'll have good reason too. Even if you turn him heel now, he's still got good reason to look back like, well, I tried to hold the company, I tried to stand up against the authority, and I tried to do this and that, and here you are back in. And I mean, maybe they could do that next year, going toward WrestleMania, to have maybe a Reigns versus Cena match and have Reigns turn heel on him for that.
I don't think that's going to happen. That's a great idea, and I wish it would happen, but I don't see it, man. They're so scared with, you know, taking chances and changing up things, even though they're trying to change up Raw a little bit because they have to. That's why Vince is out there. But I mean, I would love for Roman Reigns to say fuck everything and just turn heel and just destroy everybody. I would love that. But,
he could do that.
I'm afraid he's going to get the Cena treatment. Never turn heel, nothing. You know, he's just going to be a Barbie doll or a Ken Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But, you never know. I mean, things could change, but, I mean, I don't know. But anyway, we had Dean Ambrose and the Usos come out there and fight the new Job Squad, the League of Urination. And your typical six-man tag. And I thought this was the main event of Raw, but we still had like 30 minutes left. I said, man, I'm so used to six-man tags being in the main event spot, but main event was for Cena. So let me see. The League of Say what?
The match was crappy.
The six-man tag?
Yeah.
Just your usual six-man tag. I just didn't really buy into it. I'm not a big League of Nations fan or Sheamus fan. I like Sheamus' entrance. That's about it. But I just couldn't really get into it. It had a lot of action in it and all that jazz. But I don't know. It was okay. Just nothing special. The League of Urination won the match. I remember. Oh. Yeah. Vince gets out of the police department on bail. He finally got bail. He comes back. He comes back to the arena, and He has a back and forth with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns in the ring again, and he just says, next week. They actually gave us a cliffhanger. They said next week. This Vince talking to Roman. He said next week you're going to have a one-on-one title match with Sheamus, and I was like, wow, you know, I was like, not a good cliffhanger. I don't even want to watch Raw next week. But on the flip side, at least they're not going to have that match at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. At least they're going to have it on Raw.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about that match at all. I don't care about Roman Reigns. I mean, well, I like Roman Reigns. He's okay. But I don't care for Sheamus. And I thought they were shifting Sheamus out of the title picture, you know, because they didn't really mention anything about him getting a rematch. And then towards the end of the show, Vince is like, you're going to defend your title against Sheamus. You know, I'm like, damn. I said, well, at least it's not at the Rumble. And
yeah, that's not going to do another pay-per-view.
Sheamus.
I don't get it, man. Sheamus has been in so many pay-per-views and stuff this year. You know, let's see. You know, he's been about two or three of them at least I know of. You know, people get kind of fed up with seeing him after that. You know, this past year, especially with him and Orton going against each other all the time, and you got him going against. But I think this too, what you just said, man. I think this is kind of a close it up kind of feud. They're going to close it up on Raw, and then they're going to give, you know, him his next opponent, whoever it's going to be, or start something with Triple H maybe, you know, because I'm about ready for that to happen. Triple H has got to be back sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe they'll have a match at the Rumble, then a rematch at WrestleMania. Maybe, I don't know. The Rock's coming to WrestleMania. He didn't say what he was going to do. He just said he's going to be at WrestleMania.
All right.
With all his outdated jokes and whatnot. Juvenile jokes. Well, man, I want him to get in the ring and do something. That stuff around Rousey last year, man, it just took him so long. You know, it was like a 30-minute promo. Ronda Rousey, come on. And The Rock says, I'm like, get to the point, dude. Damn. He needs the 5-hour energy or something. Just boost him up. I like The Rock. I mean, it takes too long sometimes with his promos. And
yeah,
I'm like, what's he going to do at WrestleMania 32? Boris with a fucking 30-minute promo? I hope he has a match, but I hope it ain't against Triple H, because we had that 15 years ago. Rock versus Brock, be cool, something. Or somebody new, not Triple H. You know, I don't want to see Rock and Triple H. I really don't want to see that, because it don't do nothing for me. It's like seeing Brock and Cena have another match. It just don't. It just don't do nothing for me, man. That shit was played out 15 years ago. They would have to have a very strong story building up to it, like who was the best at the Attitude Era or something. But we already know that Rock was better than Triple H. But I just hope it ain't Rock and Triple H. I'd rather him cut another juvenile promo at WrestleMania than have a match with Triple H. You know.
Yeah.
But he won't be there. If you some pow with The Rock.
Well, he better do something, buddy. They got them seats to sell, man. They're going to be in Dallas, man. And Dallas has got, like, what was it, 100,000 seats to sell? You know, they better.
I'm happy The Rock's coming back, but I just wish I knew what he was going to do. I just hope he gets it. You know, I like to see him. Maybe if he don't want to get in the ring and tear all of his muscles again, let him be like a special referee or something. I mean,
we can't do too much though, Ken, because didn't you read where he had somewhere in his acting thing that he can't do anything to get hurt based on his something in his contract? Didn't you read something about it? Because I thought I read something two or 3 months ago that they weren't going to let him to begin with because they're worried that he might get hurt in his acting, and it might affect his acting thing, because he's got these movies coming out, like Shazam coming out that he's working on, and I think another G.I. Joe movie, and then he's got the Fast and Furious 8.
He was terrible in G.I. Joe as Tank. I just couldn't get into it. It seemed okay. It just wasn't directed right. Just didn't have a good flow to it. But now that first G.I. Joe that came out, I think back in 2009, that was awesome. I liked that one. But G.I. Joe, the sequel with The Rock, as Tank. I couldn't get into it. I tried, man, because I like
G.I. Joe got killed in the beginning, man. That's what happened, Duke.
Yeah,
Duke
right.
got killed in the beginning. I'm like, what the hell you killed Duke off for? You know, Duke was one of the main guys in the G.I. Joe cartoon. How you gonna sit there and kill him off in the beginning?
Exactly.
I didn't get it.
It paid for it too, and I think they had to redirect that movie or edit it 2 or 3 times before they even released it in theaters. It was a year and a half old before they even released it because they couldn't tie it in to all the segments in correctly or something. They changed some stuff around in it. You could tell too. You could tell it has a poor pace to it, poor flow. But anyway, on the Raw main event, John Cena makes his epic return, and people are saying to his theme music, "John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks."
I like
John
that.
Cena looked at the camera. It feels good to be back. Yeah, they remember. Everybody's booing him. What? It was 50-50. But he got more cheers than boos. That's because he's been away for so long. We got a long promo speech from Cena and from Super Cena in the ring. And then he calls out Alberto Del Rio. He says, "Alberto, you have not defended your United States." Well, first Cena said, "I would defend my U.S. title on Raw. Open challenge, baby, but I don't have it anymore." Alberto, you got my title, and you never defend your title on Raw. Won't you be a man and come out here and defend your title? And Alberto came out there to the stage area. "Oh, John Cena, you wish you were not good. You're not good enough for this title, you know." And Cena's pretty much calling him a coward, a chicken, and everything else. And Alberto's saying, "Well, I don't have to defend it." And eventually, Cena talked him into it, and we had a U.S. title match on Raw.
Right.
And I was thinking, I said, Cena's gonna win his belt back. You know, he took a break. He's gonna come back and win and get his belt back. That's what I was thinking. But he didn't win. The Job Squad interfered towards the end of the match, and it was a fuck finish, basically, just a fuck finish. So they're probably going to have a rematch at the Rumble or something for the title. So they're going to, So very very poor, man. They done a poor job with Alberto Del Rio since he's been back, but you know it's not his fault. All them guys fall in that category of people not giving a fuck about them. You know, the crowd's not caring. Nobody cares about the Job Squad or Alberto, and it's a shame too because Alberto Al Patron was pretty cool, you know, from what I saw in Lucha Underground, and there's just more to it now. Wade Barrett, you know, I mean, I disagree with Wrestling Soups. I think they had something with Wade Barrett. There's something there. He's talented. It's just he's lost too much. It's hurt his reputation now. Them guys have lost so much. You know,
right.
You know, and basically that was the end of Raw. But they gave us a little cliffhanger. Next week, Roman Reigns has to defend his title against Sheamus. Man.
Oh man, boo.
Man, I can't. Man, I'm got ants in my pants. Can't wait to see that, man. Whew. Ain't gotta wait till pay-per-view. Oh man, I can't wait.
I'm gonna have to wait till the other version, man. I don't even know if I watch that or not. It's just
maybe they'll have another kindergarten promo with each other. Well, I would do this, but you got that. I would step in, but you got this table in the ring. Well, I would, but you did. You know, Sheamus be like, fella, quit saying I look like kindergarten glue. Quit saying that, fella. Well, you do look like kindergarten glue. Now get your butt in this ring so we can settle this. I got a tic-tac-toe board right here, and we're going to see who the winner will be. You know.
Well, you did know, right? WWE does on their normal. Actually, Raw's rating did go up.
Yeah, I was going to tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen, after we give our little Raw review here, Bill Mack is going to give us the rating for this week.
Yeah, put the little "did you know" across the front, like they do sometimes when they try to put things. But I mean, that's amazing to me. It did go up though, surprisingly. Now, you guess who's going to take the credit for this? Vince is, and then saying Cena come back. You know, but I mean, I admit though, it's back up to a 3.5. This week's episode of Monday Night Raw featured the returns of John Cena and the returns of Vince McMahon yet again. Drew a 3.536 million viewers. And that is pretty much up about 100,000 more from last week's 3.376 million viewers. So they are starting to pick up a little bit, 100,000 here or there, but that's what they need to do. You want to get the fans back interested in it and back interested, I mean, Raw, because Raw was number 1 every single week. Now it says, what I'm reading here is that Raw was number 3 behind NFL on ESPN, which drew 15.8 million, which is not shocking to be with football. But Sports Center was behind it, so it was actually 3rd and not 1st. So you can see it's trying to slowly steady its way back up there, though. But, I mean, I'm just amazed at some of the matches and things, like you said, with this edition of Raw, man, with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Sasha, like you were talking about the match, they got to put on a good quality match. I just think WWE is bad for them. They're holding them back, I feel like. You said, 15 minutes for the match? That's what you said it was, 15 minutes?
Yeah, 13 to 15 minutes.
Okay, there you go.
Johnny gave the exact number. 13 minutes.
Well, there you go. And they still won't let them loose enough to have a good match? Or was it that the crowd just was dead for it? I mean, because, the crowd just don't give it.
They were wrestling like it was a 3-minute match. Like, oh shit, we only got 3 minutes. Like, bitch, you got 15 minutes. That's how they were wrestling. Like they were panicking like Anakin during the match or something.
Well, they're not. Yeah, because they're not. It's not consistent. They don't have consistent 15-minute matches each one, or because there's a difference in preparing for a 3-minute match and doing 3 minutes of work and doing a 15-minute match. I mean, that's 5 times as much work. But yet again, it's on how inconsistent they are, with that. So. What it was, I guess it was pretty decent. I mean, they did have one though, as the dude Motorhead, Lemmy.
What, he died or something?
Yeah, he passed away. I think it was either Sunday or Monday, but he passed away. And he, as anybody remembers, Lemmy from Motorhead, they were the driving force behind most of Triple H and all the Generation X and stuff, and their theme songs. Motorhead was a big deal.
They did Evolution. Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution as well. Right. Exactly right. And, I mean, there's a lot going on with that, and he passed away, and it's just a sad thing to see too, with that going on, but, like I said, and then I think the Big Show, didn't he announce, they started announcing Royal Rumble entrants, during the Raw.
Big Show and Ryback had a match. Ryback won via count out. I didn't see that part on Hulu. They cut that out of Hulu for good reason. I saw the report here. So Big Show, Ryback, I don't know nothing about. I didn't see it. I read about it though.
Sad. That is so sad, dude. That really is.
I'm glad Raw picked up the rating, but WWE is a bleeding. Raw is a bleeding show. And all they're doing is putting Band-Aids on it. They're not fixing it. How many times can you have Vince McMahon come out there and spike up the ratings and stuff like that? These are not permanent fixes. These are temporary. They're putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding product. You know? So, yeah, of course Raw went up in the ratings because it started off good and Vince McMahon was there. And they were teasing him throughout the show. When's Vince going to get out on bail and come back to the show? That's why. But he can't be there every week like that. But so it is what it is. But
and one more note too is, dude, if you've noticed lately, not as often, but lately, like you discussed in this past week and stuff happened, you notice they've been trying to push Titus O'Neil a little bit since Cesaro.
Not on Hulu.
Huh?
Not on Hulu.
But I didn't notice in like this past week, WWE has a segment on ESPN that they do, and I think Titus O'Neil was going to be on there, I think, this past Tuesday. And it's just, because Cesaro had that slot, he got hurt. So now you got Titus O'Neil trying to be inserted in that slot, which I'll give him ups. He's good for doing stuff for the community too. I don't know if it's like a 3-race horse between Cena and Reigns and him, but they say he does a lot of nice stuff with WWE. They said he never complains. He's a good worker.
Yeah, I heard he was a good talent. Yeah, I like Titus.
And they like him because he does he does stuff for the WWE because he wants to do it. I just think with Cena might not, but I think with Reigns, I think Reigns stuff is forced to be, so that he'll be a nice guy. I think, Cena's tried to be, I think Cena might be a good guy enough that he tries to help do it. Even I don't like his character. But I think, Neil does this stuff because, he really cares and about helping others too. So I think that went good. But yeah, man, the big show, they mentioned he was supposed to be one of the first entrances. Now I guess the next few weeks they'll start announcing those who's going to be in the Royal Rumble coming up. So now we have something else, Joy, for to look for next week, aside from the big wrestling title match between Sheamus and Roman Reigns. But I don't know what could get more exciting than that. Maybe they'll delete that out of Hulu too. But
prepare for the 3.5 to drop back down to 2.9.
Yeah.
Vince will probably be out there. No, that's right. I left out something. Vince McMahon's going to be the special referee for Sheamus and Roman Reigns title match next week. I left that part. I forgot. But, yeah, so that's how you get the rating right there, man. Like I said, putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding product. Nobody cares about Sheamus. Nobody cares about Roman Reigns that much. Roman's got I like Roman Reigns, but I just don't like what they're doing with him. But he was awesome in the Shield now. So they're putting Vince as the referee. That will get people watching. That's how you do it, son. Star power.
Well,
the Rumble's probably my favorite pay-per-view next to WrestleMania, so I'm definitely going to check that. Maybe we can have a post-show, maybe. Don't hold us to it, but or we might save all that information for this week in wrestling because not much happened this past week on Raw by itself. Not much.
No, that's true, man. I mean, it is what it is, and there weren't a whole lot of wrestling, as I had a chance to go over and, a lot of news without WWE, mentioning just stuff other than episodes and whatnot, and them talking about the Raw results or the SmackDown, results and stuff, which we don't care really much to get into because if it happened on SmackDown, it
didn't happen at all.
It didn't happen at all. So yeah, that's basically.
SmackDown's going to pick up though. It's moving to USA Network, so SmackDown's going to be good for approximately 3 weeks. And it's going to go back to the same old shit.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That's what I agree with you too. I feel like they're going to pack it up the next 2 or 3 weeks. First 2 or 3 weeks, then it's going to go right back to what it was. It's going to be in the shitter. So, to me, it's just ridiculous. It really was. But I mean, hey, that's who they did to do it.
Okay,
so,
well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's the end of this week in wrestling. Catch us next week for a Raw recap and our general thoughts and opinions. It's just an opinion show.
Exactly right.
For Bullet B and Bill Mack.
Bill Mack.
Y'all take care.